Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson. Let's go and talk about the weather for your Saturday evening going into your future. We made it all the way through this great day today. And hopefully we can continue that trend. We'll talk about that tonight. But first off, as we always do, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, go on and do so. Also, make sure that you go on and hit the share button. Share it with all the people that you know. We are right now at 599 subscribers. We're back to only just one subscriber away from that main goal of 600. So let's go on and get there. We'll be doing the Q&A at 600, as you know. What are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we will indeed talk about obviously the current weather, what's going on currently, also the weather for tonight, and then we'll also talk about our future. We'll talk about our patterns, stuff with our temperatures, our dew points, the cold fronts that's going to be occurring, the tropics, and maybe some flooding as well. So let's go on now. Without further ado, let's go on and start. So starting off, what is going on currently? Well, right now, currently, there is nothing going on for the entire state of South Carolina, but obviously not all could be said for the entire United States. We do, in fact, have some rainfall going on throughout portions of Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Missouri, as well as Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. Also do have some rainfall going on in Texas, Oklahoma, going into Louisiana and Kansas. And as you move all the way up here into the Northwest, Montana, Idaho, the Pacific Northwest, also inside of California, getting in on some of that rainfall, and even southern Florida getting in on some rainfall. Cloud cover for right now is looking honestly pretty cloudy right now. We were expecting that. If you were on this morning's forecast update, you know that we were expecting this cloud cover right here to go through, especially as we go through the nighttime hours. And here's another example of it right here. That cloud cover moving through, and it's going to be cloudy tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, barely going to be any sunshine at all. But as you get more into the afternoon, it may clear, like in the upstate a little bit, maybe even a bit inside of the low country. But for the most part, mostly cloudy to if not cloudy, especially as you go into tomorrow morning. Current temperatures right now around 53 in Columbia, as well as 52 in Orangeburg, 54 in Somerville, as well as 56 in Georgetown, 60 in Murrells Inlet, as well as 59 inside of Myrtle Beach. We also do have around 50 in Florence and Hartsville, as well as 47 in Bennettsville, 45 inside of Lancaster, as well as 47 in Rock Hill, 46 in York, and 49 in Spartanburg, 48 in Gaffney, and 52 in Greenville, 54 Anderson, 56 in Clemson, as well as 50 in Greenwood, 55 in Aiken, as well as 61 in Charleston, 63 in Beaufort, and 65 in Hilton Head Island. Now for your low temperatures for tonight, 45 in Greenville, as well as 43 in Spartanburg, 42 in Rock Hill, as well as 47 in Columbia, 48 in Orangeburg, and 50 in Walterboro, 62 inside of Hilton Head Island, 58 in Charleston, and 50 in Moncks Corner, 51 in Myrtle Beach and Georgetown, as well as 43 in Kingstree, Florence, and Cheraw. Now for your rainfall for tonight, obviously no rainfall expected as you go all the way through tonight and into tomorrow. No rainfall is expected. So we are good for tonight and going into tomorrow and tomorrow night. The crazy score for tonight, we are at an 11. And why are we at an 11, you may ask? Well, dry conditions, mild temperatures. There is going to be a bit of a transition in the atmosphere, an upper low in the plains, dry as moisture. An isentropic lift will begin, but rain holds off until tomorrow night. Pretty much what that means is that we're going to get some rainfall soon. That will go into tomorrow for sure. And speaking of rainfall, SPC outlook, no thunderstorms are expected tonight, but tomorrow there is a little bit of a thunderstorm risk down there near the coastal areas. If a shower gets going, especially near Hilton Head Island and maybe near Beaufort, there will be a chance for a thunderstorm. And on Monday as well, in the entire low country, from the Tri-County area over into the western low country, and then also over there near Aiken in the southern Midlands, and even inside of Georgetown. Thunderstorms are possible throughout these areas as you go into Monday. Excessive rainfall, same thing. On Monday, this is our excessive rainfall outlook for isolated flash flooding possible pretty much for most of the upstate, a lot of the Midlands, even inside of the western low country. Isolated flash flooding is possible there. That's only a 5%. Day 4, nothing for day 4. Day 5, though, this is Wednesday, right here, Wednesday, isolated flash flooding again over here for Greenville, Spartanburg, going up into Seneca, Pickens, Walhalla, Landrum, Gaffney, York, Chester, Whitmer, as well as, or Whitmire, and then also due west in Iva. All these areas, isolated flash flooding is possible. So now that that is out of the way, what about the models, though? What about the models? Looking at the models now, make sure you go on and take a look at the top right corner of your screen. But as you go on and push this forward, we stay relatively good until we get to around 4 to 5 a.m. Rainfall moves throughout the low country, moves throughout the Midlands, and then even over there inside of the Grand Strand area. Rainfall moves in through there as well. And as you go into around 7 to 8, maybe even around 9 a.m., that shower activity will be pushing in from the Atlantic. And so we have that cold front over there to the west. We have the moisture coming in from the east in the Atlantic. And so that will cause, honestly, this might be a little bit of like a warm front here in front of this storm system right here. If we go into the dew points, it looks like you're trying to get some more warm air in, especially near the coastal areas as well. You see how it's down in the 40s, but as that cold front approaches, you have this moisture rising. If I had my pen, I'm going to go and get that right now. But you have this moisture coming in from the south. That's going to move its way up. That's what's going to bring that convection over, especially inside the low country and the southern Midland areas. And so that's why we have rainfall coming in tomorrow. Now, that's for tomorrow afternoon. If we go even further into the future, more into the short-term future, go on and push this forward even more, and you can see, again, still some more moisture going on, and that now moves all the way up into the upstate by around like tomorrow evening. And then you have even more going into the coastal areas by around 8 to 9 p.m. And then it will turn into pretty much a full-blown shower system at that point. This is 2 o'clock in the morning here on Monday morning, and you have all of this rainfall moving in through from 6 to 8 a.m. Rainfall moves through the low country, moves through the PD, moves through the Grand Strand, and then also if you look up into the upstate as well, upstate starts to get some more rainfall as well as you go all the way to around 5 to 6 a.m. on Monday, and then that will move through as the morning progresses all the way to around 12 p.m. on Monday. And the entire state, I mean, this is definitely a regionally widespread amount of rainfall going on. I mean, I'd say around a good 50-60% of the state at this point right here is pretty much just covered with rainfall as you get into the afternoon on Monday. So definitely something that we're going to have to watch out for as we get into the end of Sunday going into Monday. And then even if you're near the coastal areas, the low country, going to the PD, the Grand Strand, the southern Midlands, it could be as early as tonight. Now, what about our long-term future? Long-term future, obviously you go a bit further out, so things are going to get a little bit more inconsistent, but this is where we just ended off on. We're going to push this forward. That system's going to be out of our hair, but that's not really the main system. The main system is this one on the 29th. It's going to bring some cooler air with it for sure. And so that goes all the way into Halloween. Once it gets to Halloween, though, it's going to be dry. High pressure takes over. It's nice to start off November. I mean, I see like some moisture maybe trying to come through on the 2nd. Is that a cold front? Seems like that it almost tries to be. But look at all this cold air that comes through after the system passes on the 29th. I mean, extremely cooler air. This is right here, I mean, around like 30s, 40s for a good amount of us. And so that will go through to November. And then temperatures will kind of stay dropping again as we might receive another secondary cold front going into like the first couple of days of November. Especially as you get into like November the 5th and the 6th. Like you definitely get cooler those nights as well. And then potentially even another cold front trying to pass through even after that. Go back to the dew points again. I mean, look at these dew points down into the pretty much teens. that is very dry air, and so it's not going to be humid at all just as we go through that part of November. And then another one comes through, but for the most part, it looks to be relatively on the drier side, not really looking for too much rainfall for that, if any at all. And I think that it's honestly starting to get to the point to where we will start seeing snow in some areas to our north, like in West Virginia and the northern mountains of North Carolina, and then even in Virginia as well. So they will start receiving some snowfall soon, but not for us though. And that's pretty much all that I have to say for the long term. Just cold front after cold front after cold front. If you like cooler weather, this is definitely your time. If you like the warmer weather, unfortunately, I think our time is about up here, as there's not really too much to really go off on. Now, there will be times where we might be a little bit just warmer than average, especially as you get like here, November the 10th. It's going to be potentially, again, 300 hours out, back into the 70s again, but that's pretty much all. Not really seeing anything else. Just 60s, 50s, 40s, some more 70s, some 30s even as well. So it's just not looking too great if you're a warm weather fan. But if you're a cold weather fan, this is definitely for you. That is all that I have for the models, though. So let's go on now and talk about the tropics. And the only thing that we have going on inside the tropics right now is over here in the Caribbean, where Hurricane Melissa is. It is a 100 mile per hour storm, and it's already a category 2, and it is expected to strengthen even more. I don't think that that's really a surprise to anybody right now. So what does it look like? This is what Melissa looks like right now if we go into our tropics. Obviously, the main area that we've been talking about for a long time, Jamaica, they will have that multi-day period of damaging winds, heavy rainfall that will begin tonight. It will cause catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding by numerous landslides, extensive and structural damage, long-duration power and communications outages, and potentially prolonged isolation of communities is likely. Also, a life-threatening storm surge is also likely along portions of the southern coast early next week. So, that is for all the way for just Jamaica. Now for Haiti, catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across the southwestern Haiti into early next week, likely causing extensive infrastructural damage as well. And they also may see isolation of communities. And strong winds could potentially last for days, for a day or more. So it's definitely not looking too good for them either. And then for the Dominican Republic, heavy rainfall could produce catastrophic flash flooding again. And then for eastern Cuba and the southeastern Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, definitely need to monitor Melissa as well. There's an increasing risk of significant storm surge, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall by the middle of next week. In eastern Cuba, the risk of life-threatening flash flooding and landslides is increasing. A hurricane watch is now in effect for portions of eastern Cuba. And so, how much rainfall will this produce? If you were here this morning, I talked about it, how much rainfall this would drop, because this is a lot. This is a lot of rainfall. And when I say this, I'm not exaggerating. You heard me correctly. This is not a joke or anything like that. There's a possibility that somebody will see up to 40 inches of rainfall. That is 40 inches of rainfall. I know. That is more than 2 feet. Even more than 3 feet of rainfall potentially for some areas. And then there also will be some other areas who might get an isolated 30 plus inches. And that was just for Jamaica with the 40 inches. Over there in Haiti, they can get potentially up to 30 plus. Somebody in the Dominican Republic could get 20 plus. Somewhere over there inside of Cuba, they can get up to a foot. In the Bahamas, they can get 4 to 6 inches. So definitely not the most amount, but compared to everything else, but still, this is definitely going to be a life-threatening situation. If you know anybody inside of these areas and, they didn't evacuate, they didn't leave or anything like that, make sure that they are ready for it, because the rainfall I mean, if the wind's not going to be enough, and then I mean, this thing is already 100 miles per hour. In terms of how strong it's going to get, just in general, in terms of wind speeds, I mean, it's expected to get up to a Category 5. Category 5 hurricane is now 160 mile per hour wind with gusts of up to 195 for some of these areas while it's making landfall in Jamaica at that time frame. 40 inches of rain and wind gusts of up to 190 miles per hour. Definitely not the best scenario. Not the greatest scenario at all. And so this is something that they really, really have to be prepared for at this time because, like I said earlier, it's going to be an isolation of communities. Some areas will not be accessible for to the public in these areas for a good little bit. And so it's going to be, hopefully we always hope for the best, but this is not looking like a good situation right now. Not looking like a good situation at all. But that is all that I wanted to say in terms of the actual rainfall aspect and just the key messages. We can go on and look at the actual track as well, what this thing is actually tracked to do right now. This thing is actually going to continue again in terms of, I mean, just like the entire United States for the southeastern coast. We are good. We don't have to worry about this thing. This thing will still stay a major hurricane all the way through Tuesday, and then finally on Wednesday, this thing will downgrade into a hurricane, just a regular hurricane, and not major hurricane status. But for now, 100 mile per hour winds, and by the next update, it looks like that it's going to be a major hurricane. We'll see at the 11 o'clock update if it turns into a major hurricane. But it's rapidly intensifying right now. And then here's a look at some of the other models. Pretty much the hurricane models have pretty much locked in. No threat for us. The GFS, same thing, no threat for us. The GEPS, same thing, no threat. Intensity guidance, we pretty much know this thing will likely try to get to Category 5 status, and not a lot of models are saying that, but most of them cap at around like Category 4, some even around Category 3. So that would be a good case scenario right there. So it wouldn't go all the way up to Category 5, but the forecast right now is saying Category 5. And so one last thing before we go on and talk with the audience is we also go on and look at the Euro as well, see what it says. We just look at it not only just for Melissa, but also for any other disturbances that we might have. And I mean, it says the same thing, nothing for South Carolina. And then just as you continue your way through all the way to Tuesday of November the 4th, I'm seeing some activity maybe trying to go on down in the Southern Caribbean again. Maybe. Potentially, which would not be a great sign. Hopefully that does not happen, because if it goes back and does some more damage to these areas right here, that would not be a great sign at all. So they potentially might not be done. But this is just one model run. We'll see what happens again as you go into tomorrow night, though. But after Melissa and then after this area right here, if this area doesn't form, nothing in the main development region. Again, nothing for us. We can go on and give ourselves a round of applause for that over here in South Carolina. And that is all that I pretty much have for the tropics. Pretty much all that I have for the tropics. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's go on and see what the audience has to say for us for tonight. Starting off with Mr. Chris, he was here first tonight. Says, good evening, everyone. Hope we all had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Good evening to you. Also says, please remember to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you have not already. And share it with everyone that you know. He's absolutely correct. Right now, if I go on back and check, we still only have 599. We are one subscriber away from that main goal of 600 subscribers. Just send it to one person. That is it. Just one singular person, and let them hit the subscribe button. Just one singular person, and we will be there at that goal of 600. Let's go on and get there. My Aunt Lulu comes back and says, good evening, everyone. I pray that you all had a wonderful day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Good evening to you. Mr. Anthony comes in and said, or no, excuse me. My Nana comes in and says, hi, Jay, I enjoyed the sun. I'm still thinking about it. Glad that you got some good sunlight today. Hopefully you can get some more tomorrow before the rain starts to come in. Even though you probably won't, because it's going to be cloudy just as you go throughout, especially like tomorrow morning. So you might not get too much more sunshine tomorrow, but so hopefully you did enjoy it for today. But they definitely will be back, though. It definitely will come back. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. And then my Aunt Lulu comes back and says, this morning was a little chilly, but later on the sun came out. That is correct, I believe. I mean, by the time I woke up this morning, it was like 7:50-ish or so. And so it was around like 46, 47 degrees outside. And then it did warm up pretty nicely, but then as you got into the evening, it definitely is cooler. Mr. Chris also says, same here. Monk's Corner started off cool, but warmed up nicely. Thank you both for those weather updates. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. And then Trails also comes back and says, lovely, lovely day here. That's fantastic to hear. My cousin Cheryl comes in and says, good evening, weatherman. Good evening, everyone. Hope all is well. Just chilling in Philly, but it's nice. Keep up the good work. You're the best weatherman I know. Love you, Cheryl. Thank you so much for that. Love you as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, if not every night, almost every night. My Aunt Lula comes back again and says, nephew, I heard it says thunderstorms possibly in Georgetown from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. I made plans to attend a church tailgate gathering from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. I'm assuming for tomorrow. If we go in and check this out right nice and quickly, because I can go back and just check it. Not that big of a deal. That's too far. I gotta go to the 18Z. But I mean, yeah, here it is right here. All the way through, 12 to around 3 p.m. Rainfall could be moving in from the Atlantic. Rainfall definitely from the Atlantic towards Georgetown for sure. But will it? That's the main question. It's not looking too widespread, though. That's my good take right there, is that it's not widespread. But is it possible? Possibly. Especially after. But from 12 to 3 p.m. just in general, it's looking very isolated. So if you get some, it shouldn't be that much unless something changes in the model. So that's why I say tune back in tomorrow morning, just to see what happens. Back to the audience again. Mr. Chris says, man, God be with them. Absolutely correct. 40 plus inches of rainfall. Not a joke at all. Even when we had Hurricane Debbie back, not last year, but I think it was the year before. No, it was last year. It was last year that it happened. When it happened, we only got around like a good 15 to 20 inches. So 40 inches, we haven't gotten that. But that is all that I have for the chat for tonight. So let's go in and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. So we always talk about these locations because we have people from these areas who tune in almost, if not nightly sometimes. And so we go on and talk about their area, their location, even though, their location is not being talked about, they still come on either way and show support. So that's what we like to see. So we always start off with San Antonio, Texas first. We have low temperature tonight at around 66, high temperature tomorrow at 85, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 63. There is a chance for some heavy rainfall tonight. Definitely is a chance for some heavy rainfall tonight. So you do have to watch out for that. And then, but after that though, it looks good. Looks good. SPC outlook for you, for the most part, not really a chance of any sort of major severe weather, and in terms of excessive rainfall as well, I'm going to assume that you're pretty much done there as well. There is an isolated risk if there is still some shower activity going on near you, which it seems like it's not. I'm pretty sure you're done with flash flooding and excessive rainfall for now. And then, yeah, that's pretty much all for you. Then for Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at 41, high temperatures tomorrow at 65, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 49. No precipitation is expected at this time. No severe weather is expected at this time. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, there is indeed no threat, even though you do get kind of close on Wednesday. For some isolated flash flooding. And I will say for the one on Monday, even for South Carolina as well, there was pretty much a risk for the entire state to receive some isolated flash flooding on Monday. But like I say, 4 or 5 days out, that can change. And so that's why I don't really pay the days 4 through 5 with too much attention, because I know for sure they will shift. I really start paying attention to it once we get to around days 1, 2, and 3. And speaking of those next couple of days, let's go and talk about Philadelphia, with low temperatures tonight at 42, high temperatures tomorrow at 60, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 41. No precipitation is expected as you move through for excessive rainfall. Nothing for you. Severe weather, nothing for you either. And then the final location being Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 54, high temperatures tomorrow at 69, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 52. There is a chance of thunderstorms tonight. No precipitation is expected tomorrow, though. In terms of excessive rainfall and severe weather, for the most part, you're pretty much done. Nothing else. Just as you go through excessive rainfall. And for severe weather, nothing there either. And so that is all that I have for those. That is all that I have for those 4 areas. Let's go on and talk about what's going on throughout the entire U.S. Severe thunderstorms and areas of heavy to excessive rainfall are forecast over parts of the southern plains into the lower Mississippi River Valley through the weekend. An atmospheric river followed by a Pacific storm will bring periods of gusty winds with low elevation heavy rainfall and high elevation snow to parts of the northwestern U.S. through the weekend. So that will go on there. Winds also will be going on. We have, high wind warnings out. We have some wind advisories out up there for the northwest as well, going into Nevada, going into South Dakota, North Dakota, and then even in western Minnesota. Some fog will be ongoing, dense fog for sure, southern Nebraska going into northwestern Kansas. Some freezing will also be going on in Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Some frost going on as well from Pennsylvania over into New Jersey, over towards New York City, and then also inside of Massachusetts, and then also, not Massachusetts, but Connecticut, and then Rhode Island. And so for the most part, I believe that is all that I can really see that's really catching my eye here. And so there's nothing for me here inside of the email. If you want to go in and send me an email, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. Let me go and check out the chat one more time. Lula comes back and says, "Thank you, nephew, no problem." And so that is all that I can see. Again, if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button, you're going to do so. We're at 599. We are 1 subscriber away. That's it. Just 1 subscriber away from that main goal of 600 subscribers. Top fans for tonight, Mr. Chris, I believe he was here first, and he got to 75 first, so he's the number 1 top fan for the night tonight. My Aunt Lula's at number 2, and then Trail's at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for the night tonight. If you want to be a top fan, you can. You just have to be here early, be like one of the first ones, and then also you have to be a subscriber of the channel. You have to talk inside of the chat, because the chat is only on subscriber only mode, so you have to be a subscriber in order to talk. That is all that I have. Make sure that you have a fantastic rest of your Saturday evening. I will be back tomorrow morning for your Sunday morning forecast update. Last week of October. And we will go on and talk about that forecast as you go into tomorrow evening for October the 26th going into November the 1st. We also will have the Halloween forecast as well later on that Friday. Thursday, we'll have the drought monitor update. And we'll just talk about the rest of the week as well for tomorrow evening, though. So I will be back tomorrow. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Saturday, and make sure that you're back here tomorrow.